I wanted to discuss a little bit about or touch on this movie called The Shift. And I've been catching wind of this movie when I seen a preview or I seen a snippet of this movie. And I was like, damn, what's that all about? So I watched the movie last night. And, I guess it was like, what is it? Yeah, it's a sci-fi. So I like sci-fis. Sci-fis get to do all the sci-fi stuff. The film is better. They be having some animations and all types of stuff going on. It's not just a basic movie that struggles without the sci-fi. So sci-fi is like more like, I like the whole animations and stuff like that. But so this guy, let me get the line up on here. Neil Mc, what's his name? McDonald. Neil McDonald is in charge of this realm, and he has this bracelet which he can push the buttons on this little bracelet that he has on his wrist, and he can, you know, teleport people, right? Shift. He can shift people from one dimension to another. He can relocate people with this little device that he has on his wrist. So the guy right there, Christopher Polaha, he's the husband of this wife that he met. Let me see. Let me see. Where's the wife? I think Rose Reed is his wife, right? No, it could be Elizabeth. I think it's Elizabeth. Yeah, there it is. Molly Garner, Kevin Garner. Okay. So Neil McDonald is the benefactor, and Elizabeth Tabish is Christopher Palaha's wife in the movie. Now, I want to talk about the wife and the husband for a second, because that's what I was thinking about when I saw this movie. So Christopher has some type of career. I forget what he does. He works at like an executive building or something like that. He's in corporate America. So he meets this Elizabeth Tabish, Molly Gardner. He meets this girl at the bar. So he went to work, and this is a spoiler if somebody hasn't seen it, but this movie is old, so you know this is still a spoiler. Could be a spoiler for somebody who didn't see the movie yet, but upcoming spoiler. So he goes to work, and his boss tells him, his boss steps to him and asks him, "Where were you? You wasn't at the meeting. You missed out on donuts." The boss bought donuts, and he said, "Where were you? You missed out on these donuts." So, Christopher Palaha, he blew it off like, "Oh, donuts. Yeah, those are good. I wish I would have had some donuts." So the boss told him, "Hey, come to my office." So he calls him to his office, and he says, "I want you to take the rest of the day off, and I want you to come back tomorrow and think about how bad you want to work here." Now that's just like corporate America. You know they, you know they start off or pretending to be friendly just to get the person's attention, and then they hit them with the bad news. So he told him to take the rest of the day off. So, but he met this girl at the bar, and the interaction, like I said before, you know, marriage is dead. The whole 9 yards is dead. These bras are, you know, They need to be they need a factory reset and everything. So when he met this broad, he was at the bar, and this is before his boss told him you missed the meeting. He had already met this broad, but I know that when he met her, she was hanging out with her girlfriends. And one time during the scene at the bar, she told him, you know, my girlfriend would love for you to buy her a drink, right? So she had a girlfriend with her, but the girlfriend was sitting at the table. She was sitting at the bar. Elizabeth was sitting at the bar, but her friend was sitting at the table. So I don't believe the girl ordered a drink, or he paid for the drink, or whatever. So he was drinking on. He ordered a beer. I don't even think he took a sip of his beer. And Elizabeth told him, "Oh, I don't like the whole drinking thing. I can't deal with a man that drinks. The whole alcohol thing. Blah blah blah." So he was like getting to know her, and they were flirting a little bit, whatever, having a conversation. So then he pushes his beer away because she made the comment that she don't like alcoholics. She can't do the whole alcoholic thing and all this kind of stuff. So Christopher invited her to drink some tea. He said, "You want to go down the street and drink some tea? I know a place that serves tea." And then she started to, show interest. Now, fast forward to where he's like, he's been with her for some time. They live together now, right? They live together now, right? They live together, and then go back to the day that he was at work, and the boss asked him, "Where were you? I didn't see you in a meeting. I bought donuts and stuff." He told him to take the day off and come back tomorrow, and he can talk about how serious he wants his job. Okay, so he did what his boss said. He went home. Now, while he's driving in the car, before he meets Neil McDonough, he I think he called his wife, or his wife called him. All right, so he calls his wife. I believe he called his wife, Elizabeth, and he's on the phone with her. Now, when he calls her, this is how the conversation went. He called her. She answered the phone. He said, "Hey." She said, "Hey, where are you?" That's the first question. "Hey, where are you?" He said, "I'm in my car." She said, "It's early. What are you doing? What are you doing in your car already? Right? It's early." This is what she said. It's early. So obviously he don't get off work this early. So she's automatically getting suspicious of why he's in his car already. This is how stupid relationships are here with these broads and stuff. So he says, "Oh, I'm on my way home." She says, she says, this is what she said. She said, "Did you pay the bill? Did you pay the bills yet?" She asked him if he paid the bills yet, and then he got T-boned by this garbage truck that Neil McDonough was driving. He got T-boned by this truck. All right, I believe Neil McDonough was driving the truck, but anyway, he got T-boned by this truck, and then the call dropped, and then the next scene was him waking up out of this, waking up from being knocked out by this car crash. But Neil McDonough had already, shifted him to another place, another dimension rather. So I thought about the way this guy met this chick, or this broad, And I thought about the whole marriage thing, and what marriage really entails is the women, the broad's not doing nothing. I'm talking about financially. She doesn't work, and these dudes, are being looked at like a workhorse, you know. And my thing is, if relationships are based on the dude paying all the bills, then he really don't need this broad. The dudes don't need these broads if it's all about paying all the bills, man. She can live. She can live on her own. If bras don't want to really deal with that, if bras really don't want to deal with dudes because dudes are not willing to come out of their pocket financially with their hard-earned money just to really take care of all this stupid stuff that she needs to be taken care of as well, then I'm telling you, this whole, like I said in my previous video, the whole relationship marriage stuff is dead. And then what's the point of approaching these broads if you're the man that they desire? Then they should be trying to approach you to get with you, since they really don't want to do anything, right? And I hear this a lot, that these broads are interested in men, and they see the man that they're interested in, but they still don't approach. They want this man to approach them, even though that's the man that they want, right? I seen the one video of the photographer at the Chicago festival. He approached this black broad, and I remember Godfrey, the comedian Godfrey, he referred to the girl who had this bull ring in her nose, and she had like dreads and seashells and stuff hanging off her dreads, little seashells. And Godfrey referred to her accessories as spiritual equipment, right? And I thought about that, like the chicks that, I don't know, they dress like Arab Egyptian women, or like gypsies. They got this whole kind of cross between a gypsy and some type of Egyptian Arab girl or something like that. But they'll have like what is it, like dark eyeliner on with nose rings and seashells on their dreads, and jewelry that kind of like, I don't know, like they're spiritual, but they look like witches, gypsies, witches, Egyptian Arab girls, who are like I'm talking about like during Pharaoh's days or something like that. Some of these, like he said, like Godfrey said, with this spiritual equipment. And they don't know nothing. I haven't seen them like, I've seen them like in witchcraft, gypsies, witchcraft, the spiritual equipment is what Godfrey called it. And I agree with that. The spiritual equipment, because those spiritual chicks, like sometimes Erykah Badu would look like a gypsy, a witch, well, she looks like a witch anyway. Some of these bras be looking like, what I'm saying, they try to look like attractive witches, right? Attractive witches. But most of the time those bras are not into men, right? They're in that elemental P community. So, and the photographer tried to approach this girl because he wanted to take her picture. But the broad was like, the first thing he said was, "Hey, how you doing?" And then her response was, "Oh, I'm not into men. I'm gay." And he was like, okay, well, I'm trying to take your picture. I'm not trying to get with you. He's like, what makes you think I want to get with you? And she was like, well, the past four guys that tried to talk to me tried to get with me, and I'm not into men and da 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 da. So approaching these broads sometimes goes good, other times it goes left. Now, and I've approached women plenty of times, and and then I've had plenty of women get with me. You know what I'm saying? So it works out. The times that it didn't work out, it was like, okay, so what? On to the next one. You got guys who talk about, you know, talking to a group of women at the same time at the bar, or you know what I'm saying, you bump into a group of women at the same time, or when the club was popping, dudes talked about approaching women at the club or something, or a lot of dudes get intimidated because there's a group of them or whatever. Some dudes say if it's a group of bras, then buy them all drinks. They do all kind of clown approaches. They got all type of clown, advice. But I was never that dude that was like buying all the bras drinks if there was a group of them and I'm trying to get with one of them and all of that. I never played that role. Um, for the most part, these bras be gatekeeping their girlfriends and stuff, so it's hard to really get at the one that's attractive, because sometimes the girls are gatekeeping that chick. You know what I'm saying? They won't even let dudes talk to the chick if they're in a group together. So I haven't approached a woman in a long time. I think the last time I approached a woman was like a few years ago when I was at the gym, and it was this black broad that I thought was attractive. She was looking at me, and I seen her, and then I wound up getting with her. I wound up speaking to her, and she gave me her number, and then we talked a couple of times. But in the back of my mind, I was like, this chick is she's like a lazy lover. I noticed that from talking to her, and I never ever, and I ghosted her is what I did. You know what I'm saying? And then that didn't mess up my gym experience. I kept going to the gym. I seen her a couple times. I didn't say nothing to her, and I just kept my headphones on and stayed on my workout and left her alone. But and I know there's a lot of advice about don't talk to the girl at the gym. You know, it's not like it works for some. It works for what works for some doesn't work for others. So for me, I've tried it. I haven't did it in years, but um, what I do understand is that these bras, if they see somebody, especially the black bras, if they see somebody that they like, they won't approach. They think the dude that they like is supposed to approach them, and that's like a lot of men uh, discuss these issues as far as certain groups of broads will approach the dude that they like. But I know that especially these black broads, they don't approach the dude that they like. They believe that the dude that they like is still supposed to approach them. But what I was talking about with this movie, The Shift, is how Christopher, um, I believe he approached her, or they were sitting at the bar together, something like that, because I think the scene just, unless I wasn't paying attention, but they were at the bar together, and he was basically getting with her. She wasn't really trying to get with him because she was willing to uh, um, walk away from the opportunity at the bar. She told him, "Oh, well, I don't think this is gonna work. You know, I can't do the whole alcohol thing." And he didn't even have a drink of his beer. He was just having a drink. And you're at a bar, you know what I mean? So she's at the bar. She made a negative comment about the beer. He didn't even drink the beer yet. They're at a bar, and she's at a bar, and she's to me, it was like that was a she was testing him to see if he would make these adjustments for her. right? But the only the outcome was her not working. You know what I'm saying? The chick wasn't even working, man. She didn't work, and he was doing all the work, paying all the bills. What's the point? What's the point? I never thought that was the greatest outcome that a man can get, that I can get with a woman, is or get with these bras, and I'm paying all the bills. And what am I paying for, man? I can get a woman without having to pay for anything. That's how it is for me today. I don't have to pay for nothing to get with these bras, man. So I never understood that. I don't know if that's just the caliber of dude, you know what I'm saying, or the lifestyles again, going back to those lifestyles, how this guy has this lifestyle that she has, and then he goes at these he's always going out his way to get with these broads that don't do nothing. There's a lot of broads that are part of certain lifestyles that do absolutely nothing to get with the dude. They do absolutely nothing in relationships, but when they're not in relationships, they're paying all their own expenses. You know what I'm saying? Taking trips and going in debt, doing a lot of stuff on their own. But when it comes to getting with a dude, they don't do nothing. And I don't like those bras. I don't like those bras who think that they can get a guy for free. You know what I'm saying? Can't get a guy for free. But that's all I really wanted to discuss was this movie, The Shift. I really didn't get into it because after a while, I lost interest in the movie. I was sitting there trying to watch it. I could see why I got a 5.6 out of 10, and you know, I didn't really like it, but I thought it was interesting when I saw the previews of the movie. I thought it was going to be one of those good sci-fi movies, but I lost interest during the movie after I saw what I saw, and I said, "Well, I'm gonna talk about this because I laughed. I know I laughed at the part where he was on the phone with his wife, and before he got hit by that truck, she asked him, "Did you pay all the bills yet?" That was her question. Did you pay all the bills yet? And I was laughing like, what the fuck was the point of meeting this broad if all these dudes is doing is paying all the bills? What the hell is the point of getting with these bras or even entertaining these bras if all they're trying to do is live off the man doing everything? That's not, to me, that's not marriage, man. None of the men in my life ever married a woman that did not do nothing, man. All of the bras or the women in my family, they worked. My mama worked, my father worked, my grandmother worked, my granddaddies worked. All the women worked. I don't come from that class of dudes who look to pay all the bills and look to do everything while she does absolutely nothing. I don't like a useless woman. That's the last thing I really that's the worst kind of broad. The broad that does not do nothing. Nothing. She don't go to school. She's not trying to bring no income in. I'm not paying for no broad, man. So to me that's like prostitution, man. Because these bras would leave their divorce. They'll divorce these dudes if these dudes can't pay all the bills. To me, that's just prostitution in a marriage, man. It's like marrying a prostitute, man. She's only with you based on your performance. You lose your job, you lose her. She don't have no backup plan. She's not being a helpmeet. None of that stuff, man. So that's another lifestyle for another conversation. These bras of these lifestyles, they try to be as useless as possible. All right, they're looking for these dudes to do everything. And that's why when I start off with a chick, I don't do nothing for her. I do everything for me. I don't need her. And the dudes that can pay all the bills don't need these bras. I wouldn't even want to have children with these useless bras. They don't work. Why would I want my child to be the child to see a mother that doesn't do nothing, man? I wouldn't want to raise daughters like that. I wouldn't want to raise my sons to be with these bras that don't want to do nothing. So I thought this was interesting, a little bit. I give it a 5 out of 6. The movie was, it started off like it was going to get interesting, but, I lost interest like somewhere between him meeting Michael or Neil McDonald and after he met his wife, Elizabeth, in the movie. So, yeah. But, yeah, like I said, man, I made this channel to speak freely. I'm gonna come up with something else to talk about, but the whole approaching the broads and the whole marriage thing is a joke. All right, I would not pay for nothing to get with no broad. These broads are not worth my money. They're not worth me trying to be married to them neither. Right? They're not worth it, man. It's not worth it, man. All right, so. Be safe out there dealing with these broads. If you one of them dudes who like to approach broads, then hey man, do it at your own discretion. You know what I'm saying? I would never tell men not to approach, and I would never tell men to go out their way to get with a broad. You know what I'm saying? Some bras will approach and some bras won't. It's just the majority of these bras don't approach, but I've been approached plenty of times, man. I've been approached plenty of times. I've had bras see me at the restaurant and they buy me a drink, man. I've had bras do that plenty of times too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just different. You know what I'm saying? I'm different. If I dress up a certain way, or if I, you know what I'm saying, clean up nice or whatever, or if I'm just out there, man, I've had these opportunities and these encounters with these broads. So I can't really say there's a better way, but I know the wrong way. The wrong way is to pay for everything and to be trying to prove yourself to these bras that you can pay all the bills, and that's what makes you the man because you pay the cost to be the boss and all that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, man, because like that saying goes, a poor man will be beating the brakes off a rich man's wife. So it doesn't matter, yo. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta, you know, the dude's gotta figure out whether they're that dude or not, man. I can let my nuts hang, and I've got my outcomes with these situations. So I'm not afraid to approach, and I'm not afraid to be approached. You know what I'm saying? And I've turned down situations too. You know, I know how to say no and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm different, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying be like me. I'm just saying, I'm just pointing out things that I see. And one of the foolish things that I see is dudes that pay all the bills and dudes that really choose or prefer broads that don't have to do nothing. I don't agree with that. We're not back in the 18 and the 1700s and the 1600s, man. I like a broad that got that paper. I like a broad that's going to break bread. I like a broad that's going to contribute. I like a broad that's going to perform. All right. So on to the next one, y'all.